Audi TT RS. You wanted an R8. Audi RS3, the fun Audi, the one you buy if you want borderline supercar performance with light tuning, while still telling yourself it's practical because technically it has 4 doors and 4 seats. In reality, the rear seats are more of a legal formality. Anyone over the age of 10 will survive about 10 to 15 minutes back there before reminiscing about public transport. The RS3 has gone through multiple generations, but the selling point has always been the same, that turbocharged 2.5 liter inline 5. Yes, 5 cylinders, an objectively weird number that produces one of the most charismatic engine sounds on the market. Somewhere between a 4-cylinder having a breakdown and a V8 clearing its throat. It's amazing. The engine itself is known to be fairly reliable and extremely tunable. With minimal mods, these things punch way above their weight class, which is why RS3 owners are legally required to mention stage 1 within the first 5 minutes of a conversation. Now for the controversial part. Because the RS3 sits on Audi's MQB platform, the engine is traversely mounted, which means older RS3s do not use Audi's traditional mechanical Torsen Quattro system. Instead, pre-2022 models use a Haldex-paced all-wheel drive system. Does it work well? Yes. Is it fast? Quite. Is it the legendary real Quattro you'll hear about from older Audi guys? No. And BMW fans will remind you of this immediately. However, 2022 Plus RS3, aka the 8Y generation, no longer uses Haldex. Audi replaced it with the RS Torque Splitter, which can actively send torque side to side at the rear axle. This is where the RS3 unlocked its BMW mode. The car can now bias power rearward and even fully overdrive one rear wheel, allowing proper rotation and controlled oversteer. Is it a bit artificial? Yes. You can feel the electronics work. Is it effective? Absolutely. And it's a massive improvement over the old Haldex setup. Still, if you want true old school mechanical Quattro, the kind that doesn't need software tricks or drift modes, you'll have to move up to an Audi with a vertically mounted engine, which brings us to the Audi RS4, the people's RS car. Not because it's cheap, but because it's the most rational way to get a real RS without immediately upgrading your mechanic's lifestyle. It's significantly cheaper than an RS6 both to buy and to maintain, while still giving Audi purists the one thing they swear they absolutely cannot live without: proper mechanical Quattro. Earlier RS4 generations famously ran a naturally aspirated V8, which sounded incredible and drank fuel like it was trying to forget something. The current and final RS4 generation switched to a 2.9 liter twin-turbo V6, making roughly the same horsepower but noticeably more torque, which is objectively better for actually driving the car instead of just revving it in tunnels. And yes, this is the last RS4. Audi has discontinued it. Size-wise, it's meaningfully larger than an RS3, especially in Avant form, and the back seats are actually usable by adults who possess fully developed spines. You can put people back there and they won't file a complaint. When you factor in budget, practicality, interior quality, sportiness, and the full iconic Audi experience, this might genuinely be the best bang for your buck RS car Audi has ever made. Now for the part no RS4 owner will openly admit. It's kind of ugly. Not bad ugly, just tragically understated. It doesn't have the absurd width, aggression, or presence of an RS6. In Avant form, which is the only way to get a modern RS4, it sometimes looks less like a performance icon and more like something that should be parked quietly behind a Target. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic car, as long as you can emotionally handle someone saying, "Oh nice, yeah, my grandma has an Audi like this too." If you want similar money but actual visual intimidation, you'll have to move sideways to the RS5. The car that killed the A4. Audi didn't officially murder it, but functionally it's gone. What used to be the A4 line is now folded into the A5 family, Sportback and Avant. So yes, Audi basically merged the two and called it Progress. Which means the RS5 is now doing double duty, sport coupe replacement and practical-ish daily. According to Audi's head designer, this is the most beautiful car he's ever made, which is bold considering he also designed the R8, but honestly, he might not be wrong. The RS5 is less responsible dad than the RS4 and more dropshipper / e-commerce bro energy. It looks like it races supercars for fun, and with a stage 1 tune, it absolutely can't ruin someone's day who thought their Lamborghini badge meant something. If you go Sportback, the compromise versus the RS4 is surprisingly small. You still get 4 doors, a hatch, usable cargo space, just less rear headroom. Anyone over 6 foot or 1.80 m sitting in the back will be gently reminded that, well, buses exist. Realistically, unless you regularly transport tall adults in the back, this is the better Audi Audi over the RS4. It looks better, it feels sportier, it gets more attention. Just don't tell 35-year-old dads who justify wagons with spreadsheets or 60-year-old executives who should have just bought an A6. Which brings us to the inevitable endgame, RS6. Audi RS6 Avant, the icon, the car that didn't just make wagons cool, but made wagons cooler than everything else. Not cool for a wagon, cool as in many people genuinely think it's the coolest looking car on planet Earth. It has the width, anger, and aggression of a supercar while being large enough that you're not surprised when an actual manly looking man steps out of it. Although that just might be my personal bias considering I'm 6'6", nearly 2 meters tall, and when I sit in a convertible supercar I'm basically staring at the roof. The RS6 does everything, there are no compromises, with one massive prerequisite. You have to be stupid rich. Not unstable e-commerce bro rich, not successful business owner rich. You need the kind of money where owning this car doesn't turn it into a fragile museum piece you're afraid to drive because one repair might force you to choose between rent or brakes. Unlike cheaper Audis, there aren't many clever workarounds here. You're not swapping Volkswagen parts or being smart about maintenance. Everything on this car is an ultra-precise, hand-finished performance component, and replacing any of it will casually cost you an average monthly salary. Still, if you can afford it comfortably, you've basically reached peak car. At that point, only the 0.001% of BMW owners can realistically look down on you. But if you somehow have RS6 money and you're not old yet, you might have to consider the Audi RS7, the cool brother of the RS6. Just like the RS5 compared to the RS4, the RS7 is basically the same car as the RS6, but it sacrifices rear headroom for vibes. Same platform, same twin-turbo V8, same terrifying performance, just wrapped in a sleeker, angrier shape. To me, the RS7 looks cooler. It screams I'm young and rich instead of I'm just rich. This was my original dream car. Honestly, it still kind of is. The C8 RS7 feels like the absolute peak of modern Audi. Cutting edge tech, aggressive design, and just the right amount of menace. A perfect balance between luxury and don't test me. That said, all the new 2026 era Audi designs feel like they might be doing a bit much. Too many angles, too many screens, too many ideas happening at once. But hey, that could just mean I'm aging out of the target demographic. Now let's talk about the RS SUVs. There are two of them, or one if you live in the States. Audi RS Q3, the RS car America never got, but probably would have loved. Which makes sense because the SUV obsession is basically an American invention at this point. Still, the RS Q3 is Europe only, which weirdly makes it more special. It runs the same 2.5-liter inline 5-cylinder, making 400 horsepower and 480 Nm of torque in the latest version. Sound-wise, it's phenomenal. Character-wise, it's peak Audi. Technically though, it's not perfect. It uses the older Haldex-based all-wheel drive system, so there's no rear torque vectoring, and the 7-speed S-tronic gearbox can feel a bit slow to react when you're really pushing it. Power delivery also takes a moment to wake up. It's not instant drama, but that could probably be improved a lot with a simple stage 1 tune. Another thing, positive or negative depending on who you ask, is the seating position. It's high. I mean, obviously it's an SUV. What's weird is the contrast. From the outside, the RS Q3 looks like a mini budget RS6. Then you sit inside and suddenly you realize, oh, I'm sitting on the car. Rear passenger space is also limited, mostly because of the short wheelbase and sloping roofline, especially if you go for the Sportback, which you probably will. And yet, I love this car, and so do most reviewers. The design is genuinely excellent, unlike the RS4, which honestly feels under-designed to upsell you into an RS6. The RS Q3 looks like it costs way more than it actually does. The interior too, personally, I prefer it over the RS4 and RS5's let's duct tape an iPad to the dashboard aesthetic. Also, full disclosure, this is the car I'm planning to buy, so yeah, subscribe if you want to see more of that. It's often called the Baby Urus, and honestly, it deserves the name. But the next one isn't a Baby Urus, it's just a Urus with 4 rings. Audi RS Q8, the Lamborghini Urus with an Audi badge. Same basic idea, same absurd performance envelope, same presence, just cheaper because no Lamborghini. This is the pinnacle of Audi, and depending on who you ask, maybe the pinnacle of cars in general. You get an upright king-like seating position, seats so comfortable they'll quietly put you to sleep, a boot big enough to fit a motorcycle, rear seats so nice you won't want to get out, and performance that will generally scare supercars, all wrapped up in a price tag suitable only for trust fund kids, empire-building businessmen, or members of the Bop House. But here's the thing, it doesn't feel as sporty as an RS6 or RS7, so when I see one on the street, I don't think, wow, this guy must be even richer than the RS6 owner. I think, this guy isn't even a petrol head.